myself and the beautiful Belle are running our little Zoom introduction session on how to self-muscle test through whole body testing, and your one is through the arm.
Yep.
Perfect. So we're going to kind of swap between the two of us as we run through this today. So I'm Amanda. I'm based down in Melbourne on the Mornington Peninsula, or at the beginning of the Mornington Peninsula in Frankston South. And we've been asked to jump on today. Me and Belle are both kinesiologists. So my background is, before the AO scanner, is 21 years this year as a full-time kinesiologist. I studied through the ICPKP program many years ago in 2000. Done many other courses since then. I also used to teach kinesiology 1 and 2 day basic K-Power courses. So introduction to muscle testing, stress release, DNA, Tibetan energy, and a basic sort of 5-element touch for health type training back in the day. So I've taught this whole body testing and that in different ways over the years. So we're trying to incorporate some basic skills for you guys who don't know muscle testing, that you could do on yourself through the scanner, and also use it to ask yourself questions and start to trust your body. So that's our little program today. We're sort of going to just talk about the pre-checks, give you 2 different techniques, and then sort of try to bring that into the scanner. So we're going to have some time to also practice. And please note that, we've done muscle testing for many years. It is an art form. You do need to practice it. It's not something that you can just pick up like that. So please just practice these techniques, because it does take a bit of time and there's a bit of art to it. And Belle will start to talk about that with the pre-tests and things. So I'll welcome Belle onto the group.
Hi, everyone. So, yeah, I'm Belle and I'm in Seaford, also near the Mornington Peninsula. And I've been a kinesiologist now for 8 years. And I also teach kinesiology as well, which I just love very much, because I really feel like everyone on the planet should know how to muscle test and communicate with their body and know exactly what their bodies actually want and need. So yeah, I'm really excited that we're sharing some of this with you today, so you can at least learn some very basic muscle testing skills. As Amanda said, it does actually take time and practice. So I liken it to either learning to drive a car or learning an instrument, right? You're not going to get behind the wheel of a car the very first time and pick it up and just be the most amazing driver on the planet. You're not going to decide, I'm going to play the flute and pick it up and, be ready to play in the symphony orchestra straight away, are you? Everything takes time and practice. So just remember that with your muscle testing, if you're getting a little bit frustrated with yourself for not getting it straight away, to just be patient and kind, and it's a tool, and just keep practicing. So we're going to teach you today also not just basic muscle testing, but some pre-checks to do before you do your muscle testing. Because if you just jump on and start to do muscle testing and you haven't checked that all of your brain is switched on properly, or the electrical circuits in your brain, in your body, are working properly, that your hydration is working properly and things like that, you'll actually get a misread. So your yeses can become no's, and vice versa, and things like that. So to get a very accurate yes and no of what your body actually wants and needs, the pre-checks are very important. So if you learn this muscle testing skill today, don't just skip all the pre-check stuff we're teaching you and just go into your yeses and your nos, because the thing is, you're going to get muddled answers, and then you're going to actually confuse yourself, and then you're going to be wondering why it's so hard to work out. But it's probably because you haven't actually done all your pre-checks properly. So make sure you really make them a priority to do. Amanda?
Okay. So we're going to kind of introduce you to a couple of different pre-checks to make sure that I guess if we were doing one-on-one, you'd be doing it on someone else's muscle. But today we're teaching you how to self-muscle test, so that you have this toolkit to use with the scanner. Even, when you're going shopping, you could use this technique in a moment to pick what brands that you want, or what ingredients you want, or things like that. So it's kind of quite varied. So the first pre-check we're going to look at is called switching on the brain. So what I'm going to do is just share some information. So I'm just going to kind of read through some little information about this, and then I'll demonstrate it, and then we'll all have a moment to do it on ourselves. So I'll just hopefully be able to, yep, can everyone see that? Yeah, all good. So switching on the brain. So this just pulled this out of a course I used to teach.
Blank for me. I don't know if anyone else can see anything, but I'm just seeing a blank black screen.
Yeah, blank for me as well.
Yeah, blank screen here as well.
Oh, hang on.
It
Okay.
says you have started screen sharing, but
Yeah, well, it's
Tested it out a minute ago and it worked, but
no, what about that one?
No.
no.
Okay. Worked before, didn't it, Belle?
did.
Does that one come up?
Yay!
Yep. Okay.
Oh, it does. That's really weird. It was exactly the same. Anyway, technology. Okay, so I'll just take you through switching on the brain. I don't know if anyone, some of you might already know this. I don't really know everyone's background that's on the Zoom, but we'll pretend like no one knows anything. And we'll sort of just jump in. So switching on the brain. So this originally was developed by a kinesiologist called Dr. George Goodhart. So there's a whole history about kinesiology, but we won't sort of go into that today. But when someone is under stress, there's often an electric scrambling going on in the neural pathways in the brain. So Belle started to talk about this with the pre-tests. So it's called neurological disorganization, and it's like tipping a switch or an electric circuit in your house and needing to reset the switch in your meter box. So remember those old houses with the meter box? And you'd have the iron going, the washing machine on, and suddenly you put the hairdryer on and everything would go off and had been overloaded. So this is what can happen in our mind, in our body, when too much is going on. We can go into this switch off. And so when we're in a space of switching off the brain, our feedback in the body is not accurate. Whether you're doing a muscle test or this whole body testing or the technique that Belle's going to teach as well. So if the brain's not functioning as a whole in an integrated state, it's unable to communicate properly with your body, and the feedback will be inaccurate, which can lead to confusion, lack of focus, coordination issues, dyslexic tendencies, etc. So switching on the brain and the body is helping us to talk to both connections and enhance your focus, your concentration, feeling clear-minded, switched on and alert. So this is something that we do when we've got a body on the table. We all check these switch on points, but this is something that all of us can do to start our day. Therapists, before they start working, before you even maybe do a scan on someone, you could switch on your brain. So it's good for kids for homework, learning difficulties, dyslexic tendencies, handwriting. So often our handwriting goes up and down. So this technique's really good to integrate the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, our handwriting, also difficulty going up and down stairs. So it's working on all three dimensions of the brain. It also works with, our speech, confusing left and right and P's and B's and D's. So sometimes, I'm often go, oh God, what's my left and right? I have to think a minute, maybe I'm switched off. So it also helps with reversing, so looking backwards. So whether you're backstroking in a pool, reversing a car, these techniques help with all your spatial awareness. So ability to think, learn, remember, recall, organize, plan, focus, coordinate. And it's a great one for public speaking. So I should have done this before I jumped on the Zoom. So if anyone is making presentations, this is a really good technique to switch on your brain. So they originally come from acupressure points, and a lot of kinesiology is based on the 5-element Chinese medicine fundamentals, and a lot of our things are based on the acupressure points and meridians that are corresponding to the body. So this is just what these techniques are. So in a minute, I'll get off the share screen so we can all sort of do it together. But as you can see, we've got, a little point up here, which works with the central meridian, the brain, and also the governing meridian here. And then we've got the CV8, which is always around the belly. And then we've got the CV1, which is all at the back here in the coccyx area. So this is just, you know, quite a detailed sort of integration of the switching points. So we don't need to get too caught up in it, but it might be just good to know what these points are actually doing. So the first point that we're looking at is putting your hand on your belly, and it doesn't matter whether it's right or left. And then we're just putting one finger here and one finger here. So we could all do this together as we're going. And we're just giving it a little rub. So giving it a little rub. And this is associated with the midbrain and the limbic system. And when we're integrated, we feel clear, able to concentrate, productive, a sense of well-being, our needs are met, etc. So then when we swap hands, and, you know, it can just be a quick 20, 30-second little switch on. And you need to do these in order. So this is the first one. The second one, we're putting the hand on the belly again, and we're just coming down through the jaw, under the collarbone here, which is K27. And we're giving that a little rub. And so this is about communication. So when it's integrated, we're more graceful, articulate, capable to communicate. We can hear better, we speak better. And then we give it a little swap. So swapping the hands, coming down. And so we're getting all three dimensions of the brain, our thinking, our concentration, our sensory brain, everything's switched on. So the last one is keeping the hand on the belly. And we're just going to come around here to the coccyx. I don't know if everyone can see, but maybe have a look at the point where GV1 is. And give that a little rub. And so these points can actually energize you as well. Just get you more centered and grounded. So when this is switched back on, we can participate better, we feel more flexible, we might be able to multitask more and have good perception. So let me just jump out of that and just going to check. Maybe we all do it again. Does everyone remember it? Hand on the belly, rubbing these points and swapping over. And the second point down here in the K27s, giving that a good little rub, swapping over. So again, we can use this before we use the scanner, before we're going to do a muscle test, before you public speak, as you start the day, and it just starts to switch on our body. So has anyone got any questions about that first switching on technique? Was there a question in the love switch-ons? Yeah, thanks, Paige.
Are we able to have a copy of the
I thought
PDF?
everyone would ask that. Well, it does come from a course, but I can't put it in the chat. So yeah, maybe I'll put it in the group. Yeah, I'll put it in the
Thank you.
Group. But it is copyrighted to me, so just
won't share it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Beautiful. So we're going to. Does anyone have any questions about switching on to start with? Everyone's feels like they could do that.
Is it clockwise?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you don't start here, you do have to start here, then at the back in order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you could do this for 2 minutes. You could do it for 20 seconds. You know, you could do it 10 times a day. It's just a little technique to make sure all your three dimensions of the brain are already switched on and your body's alert. All right. I think Belle's going to go on to some other ones now.
So another beautiful one to do is make sure that your thymus energy is balanced, right? So our thymus is our life force energy and it is our immune system. It helps, produce T lymphocytes and things like that. So it's really, really, really important, and it makes a very big difference to your muscle testing. So to up the energy of your thymus, and this is something you can also do at 3 in the afternoon if you feel tired, if you feel fatigued, whenever you're really run down. Just get a nice flat fist, and you're going to thump right here really hard, like you want to hear it. Like Tarzan, you want it to be a hard thump. If you're doing it softly, you're not doing it well enough. So it needs to kind of be shocked into energy. And like years and years ago, ambulance people and stuff used to do it, but now they've changed all the rules. But it's really, it just brings back in your life force energy. So give it a really good hard thump. Just intuitively, I always feel like when I feel like I've done enough, I seem to always do a nice deep breath in and deep breath out. So just keep doing it until you feel some kind of energy movement going throughout your body. In a kinesiology session, we will muscle test the amount of times you need to do it and when's enough, but that's a little bit complicated for what we're doing here today. So bang it enough times until you feel like it's enough. And then what we're going to do is we've got some spleen points here just at the bottom of the rib cage. And you're going to just also give those spleen points a nice big rub because they're linked in with the thymus energy. Again, a lot of this is can be complicated, and it's got a lot of explanation behind it. And if you want to come and do a kinesiology course, you can learn the details of that. But for today, we're just keeping it all simple so you can just, flow through the instructions. The other little pre-check is central meridian zip-ups. So the central meridian actually brings energy up to the brain. So can you see here? So you'll go from your pubic bone here up to the top of your bottom lip and just bring the energy up and then across out 3 times. Yep. Super easy. And if you're feeling like you're a little bit out in that area, you can just give it a nice big shaky, shaky, shaky shake, clear the energy, and then bring it back up. It's important that you bring it up and then out, because if you bring your hand up here and you kind of go like that, I want everyone to put your hand at your bottom lip and swipe the energy down towards your pubic bone. Like down towards your pubic bone. Does that feel weird and icky in your body? Right? It feels really weird and icky. So let's bring it back up 3 times. So that's why it's important to actually flick up and out, because if you accidentally just come up here and then you go a little bit down, then you're bringing that icky energy. That makes sense? The other really important pre-check is hydration. It's really important your body is hydrated and there is enough water going around your electrical circuits. So before you start any muscle testing session, have a big, big, big skull of water. And there is a test you can do to see if you're hydrated, which you'll need to check after we teach you how to muscle test. But you can literally just pinch your hand and then you'll muscle test yes or no. And if you've got a no, you're not hydrated enough, you can drink some water, pinch again, and muscle test and make sure that it's holding. But we can revisit that again after you actually know how to muscle test. Does anyone have any questions about that? So you're going to do brain switching points, thymus thumps with some spleen rubs, and zip up your central meridian energy before you start your muscle testing.
Yeah, I might just jump in and add that when you do the thymus tap, this is also a good one if you're surrogating or it's very sensitive or you feel like your energy's out there. You can just tap on your thymus and ask yourself to come back. I'm being myself. I'm 100% being myself on all levels and all dimensions. And it just also helps to bring that energy back in. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So I guess, yeah, you'd start the day, you'd have a glass of water, you do your zip ups, you switch on your brain, and then you're sort of, if we were teaching proper muscle testing on a person in front of us, there's a few other little checks that you could do with different points that you can hold, etc. But for today, just coming into this and self muscle testing, we want to just, these are, pretty amazing pre-tests anyway. And a lot of people might forget to do these. And as Belle said, then you're going, okay, this is not working for me. I've lost my confidence. I don't trust my body. I don't trust the indicator muscle. And we go into overwhelm and we can't do this. So the technique that I'm going to teach you today, hopefully I can get the screen back up. In a minute. Can everyone see that? Is that yes?
Yes.
Oh, you can see it. Beautiful. Okay. I was worried it was black and white again. Okay, so I'm going to teach you whole body testing. So I'll just take you through this, then we'll do a demo, and then we'll all have a little bit of time to practice. So one question many clients or students ask is, how can I muscle test myself? So, it's so this is one of the techniques. So this is self-auditing, and testing technique is an easy and a reliable way to test yourself. It's a form of muscle testing using your body instead of the arm. Muscle testing is obviously a biofeedback tool that reads your mind and your computer and your body. This allows you to access your auditory of the body's energy system, allowing us to gain awareness of any imbalances in the body and what will increase balance or what's negative in our field as well. So why would you use this technique? It's for self-awareness to discover from your mind and body what is in your highest good. So it's kind of like we're using the body in a moment to ask questions, to tune in, to gain some awareness. It's discreet. It can be done anywhere. So I do this in the supermarket. I might do it in, a vitamin shop if I'm looking at, I'm going to buy this particular brand of vitamin C. I test up, in the health food shop, which is in my high food. So there is a bit to it. It's a little bit of making sure your question asking is correct and your intention is correct as well. There's no touch required. There's no assistance around. So we're not doing it on anyone else. We're doing it on ourselves. So there's two ways we can whole body test. The first way is a stress response test. So, and the second way is asking questions. So I'll show you both, but probably for the AO scanner and in life, it might be best to ask questions. Give me a yes and a no so you know which way your body is going to be swaying. So I'll just take you through it. So the first method is the stress test. So what we might be doing is thinking of something fearful or something that makes us feel stressful. And this will usually produce a backward movement. And that's usually like when something we pull back from or something we don't like, something that's stressful. So often when we think about something pleasant, our body goes forward. So we might be walking down the high street, we see this shop with this beautiful dress in the front, and we go forward towards it because it feels positive to us. And we might be at a party and someone comes into our space and we might go, oh, so, usually our stress response can be forward and back. But in some cases, I was taught that there's usually a 1%er that could be in the opposite when we're asking questions as well. So the main way I like to do it is to ask questions. So method two, or if someone can turn off there. Yep, beautiful. So that's the method that might work best for you guys is asking a question. So usually forward is yes and no is backwards, but there might be one or two of you that maybe forward is no and yes is backwards. And there's not many, but most people it's usually the correct way is forward and back. So whenever you're setting up question asking, it's always good to ask things in your highest good and most beneficial for you or a priority. Because often when we're asking questions like, do I want chocolate? Your body might go, yes. But is it for your highest good? And your body might say no. So it's always, you always need to back it up with a proper question and make sure you're very clear with that. So I'll demonstrate this and then we'll sort of jump out of it. So actually I'll jump out of it now. So you can use this to test up an essential oil, an emotion, a vitamin, a crystal, an affirmation, food, whatever. So let me stop sharing. So I've had my glass of water. I've switched on my brain. I've tapped on my thymus, my spleen points. And I sometimes do it like that. And what's the other one? We've zipped up our central meridian. So hopefully I'm ready to go. And if I'm not, and my whole body testing doesn't work, maybe I'm switched back off. Because when we public speak, we could go into overwrought or, things could switch off. So I'll do it. Oh, should I do it on the side here? So I'm going to say to my body, now that I'm switched on, give me a yes. And I'm forward, and I'm quite forward. So someone might say, give me a yes, and they're just tiny, really tiny movement. But my yes is quite forward. And then I might say, okay, body, give me a no. And my test is back. Sometimes your body might just go, oh, I don't know. And then we know we're switched off again. So then we might switch ourselves back on. The other way is to ask a question. To say, okay, think of something positive in my life. And my positive indicator is going forward. And then if I think about something stressful in my life, and now my body's gone backwards. So I'm very forward back for yes and no and positive and negative, but you might be different. If you do nothing and you kind of just sway, you've switched off. So any questions about that to start with? My no is always sideways left. Okay, then you're not switched on properly. Do you do switch on points?
No, not normally, but I've always been forward yes and no sideways.
Maybe try these switch on points and see if it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, maybe that is what you trust is that. But generally, it usually means that you haven't switched on everything.
Okay.
So do we all want to just have a couple of minutes practice in our own space? Me and Belle will watch you all. And if you have questions, yell out. I know it's a little bit different on Zoom than face-to-face doing this sort of stuff. But maybe just switch on, drink your water, do your pre-tests, and then just ask your body for a stress response, positive and negative, and then a yes and no, and see what you do. Is yours yes and no the same, Belle, or different?
Yeah, the same, the forward yes and back no.
Yeah. Have you had people that is the opposite?
I rarely teach that method. I mostly teach the way I'm going to show. So I can't really say that I've had many people have the opposite because I haven't really taught that method very often.
Oh, no worries.
I've had different people have different things. Some people they go round and round and like different things like that. So, but it's an interesting point that you say about the switch on. So I reckon you might be right about that. And when there was another method as well, it'll come to me, but there was something else to check and that also influenced that as well. And I have to think about what it was now because it was a while ago that someone told me. But yeah.
There's other little pretexts when you were actually doing muscle testing, but you could bring it into this. Make sure that you're straight. Your legs aren't tangled and around and you're doing it like this. Make sure you're clear. So often, we might be tense. So drop our shoulders, breathe. Often we're, might be, holding onto our tummy when we're doing it. So we're recruiting other muscles. So that's all going to change the outcome. We might clench fists So we might be holding our breath when we do it. So again, just drop, breathe, make sure you're in correct posture. Little tricks like that can also help. Looks like you're all had a go. Definitely getting a strong forward yes and a strong backward no. Yes. Good. So you can either use it like thinking of something stressful, thinking of something positive and checking what happens. But I think if you're reading the scanner, I think it might be easier to get a yes and a no. But that would be something that you guys could play with. All right, so I think we're going to talk to Belle now about her method. Unless anyone's got any questions on the whole body testing. Oh, just quickly, sorry, was there anyone that went the opposite direction? Still sideways. I feel this is my no, and yep. And again, like we've got to learn to trust ourselves. And intention is huge and trust is huge. And so if we're doubting what that means, then we're going to get confused. So if that's good for you, keep using it if that works. Perfect. Sorry, Belle.
Okay. So I'm going to show you my favorite method of self-muscle testing. There's so many different methods out there, and I've taught self-muscle testing courses for years and years and years and years, and I teach kinesiology. And out of all the students that I've ever taught, this one always seems to consistently, I find, be the easiest and the least confusing out of all of them that most people can simply pick up. So I'll teach you this, and then you can just have a play. If you prefer the body pendulum, keep going with that. If you prefer this, so you can just play and experience and learn both, yeah? So with this method, what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your elbow in to your side. So it looks like you're holding a bucket of gold. And you want to make sure that it's actually tucked in, because you don't want it wailing out here, because you're not going to get a good muscle test if you do that. So it's going to be like joined to your side and on a nice 90-degree angle. Has everyone got that? And so where we want to be muscle testing is like where you would have a watch, this sort of like muscle area on where a watch, you would wear a watch there. So you can use either the palm of your hand, or you can use 2 fingers. So up to you. You can either put the palm of your hand here, or you can use 2 fingers. And I want you to say, my name is, and whatever your name is. So like me, my name is Belle. And that's a yes, and it's holding very, very strong. Is everyone getting a nice locked muscle? Yeah. So now say, my name is Banana. And it should go down. Everyone got a down muscle? Yep. Unlocking. Amazing. And so I always, when I start any muscle test after the pre-checks, I talk to the muscle and I make sure that it is all working. So I do a true or a false. So my name is, Belle, that's true. So it's locking. My name is Banana. Well, that's false. So it's unlocking. Then I also, similar to what Amanda did, I like to think about something positive. So think about a positive experience or something that you love, or say the word gratitude, and then muscle test that. And it also should lock. Everyone got a lock? Yep. And now think about a negative or bad experience, or say fear, and it should unlock. Beautiful. So that's the emotional test. Then we're going to do one more before you start muscle testing, and it's a biochemical test. So think about something that smells disgusting. So it could be like a baby's nappy or petrol or a texter or something. Just think about something that smells yuck to you, and it should unlock. And then think about something that smells delicious, like flowers, essential oils, something that smells amazing to you, and it should lock. Has everyone got a nice yes or no for that? So you've done a true and a false, you've done an emotional test, and you've done a biochemical test. So now you actually know you're totally ready to actually start using your muscle to actually start like working through the scanner or muscle testing, whatever else it is that you want. So it's a really great tool to be able to use to muscle test with the scanner. Do you know one of the biggest questions I get asked by my team underneath me is people messaging me for how long should I have something for? How many times should I do something? And how long should I play the Cephi, playlist for? So that is one area where you definitely want to be muscle testing. So I don't know how many times a day your body needs to be scanned, right? Does it need to be done once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day? Muscle test for it. I don't know how long you need a Cephi playlist sent for. Maybe your body wants it for 10 minutes. Maybe it wants it for 8 hours. I don't know. Your body will tell you, right? So when you can start muscle testing for yourself, you are going to get such much greater results from your scanner because you're giving yourself exactly what your body needs, not what you think you need, not what you're guessing you need, not what whoever you've asked around you has told you that they think you need. You're actually talking to your body and actually experiencing what you need. I can tell you, if I've got a physical thing going on, right, and I do a Cephi playlist, the one that my brain will make up compared to the one that I will muscle test will be completely different. Some of the things that test up are just so weird and wild, and I just would never have thought in a million years to put them in my Cephi playlist. But they're the ones that I find I have really immediate results from in like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, or something like that, right? So this is going to be, if you can master self-muscle testing, it's going to be a game changer on how you can actually use your scanner. I know Amanda has got some other ways that she uses it. She'll share first, and then we can do with playing with her Cephi playlist. So would you like to show them how to muscle test through their scans?
Well,
beautiful.
Yeah, hopefully this works. Can everyone see that? The scanner's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do use it many different ways. I use it in clinic with my kinesiology clients. So if I was doing it in that sense, I would use like the way that Belle kind of taught, because I can intuitively and quickly with my muscle test check in what's relevant in that scan for that client. And then I just sort of write it on a piece of paper and I bring it into my kinesiology session. And then I check with muscle testing what's relevant, from emotions to vitamins, to what's showing up in the scanner. So that's kind of the main way I use it. But I guess for you guys, when you're looking at your own scan, you could come in and even like whole body test, or do the self-testing with the arm, and even like just check like right now, like what do I need out of the 3-minute boosts for the day? I'm just going to ask my body which, yes is forward. So I'm looking for a yes. So in my mind, I'm getting really clear what I'm looking for. So you've got to have good intention when you do this sort of stuff. So do I need the supercharger? No. Do I need focus right now? Yes. And then I could take it a step further and go, is this in my highest priority to have focus right now? And it is. But if it said no, then I might check, is it the next one? Is it the next one? And so then I would play focus right now. So instead of using my intuition or guessing, I'm asking through whole body tests what I might need. So same with my morning, hang on a minute. So does everyone use their quick scan for customize? So I kind of, check all these and then I scan myself, and then it will bring up, because I've got a whole heap of therapies in there and vitamins. And in the custom stand, it kind of brings up morning and lunchtime. And so what I often do is I just tune into that list, and I might not take all of those things that show. I might ask my body or my self-testing with the arm, what's in my highest good out of all those vitamins? If I only took 1 or 2, which ones are my highest priority? And I look for that. So, I won't scan it right now because it will take a bit of time. But does everyone do that customized scan? Does everyone just do everything that it says on that list? Sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a lot to take. I might check what my body really needs today and what's the highest priority. So I would use it like that. When I go into body systems, so if I bring up a report, and I might jump into causes and emotions, I often will check what's priority here for me to start to look at, because sometimes it's too big, it's too overwhelming. So I might go to the emotions, and what's showing for me right now is self-confidence is something I might need to look at a little bit more. So I might use that on a Cephi list, or I might, bring that into something else that I'm doing right now. And again, I might muscle test through what's priority here to look at right now. And my body's saying improve my sleep. And I did have a really bad night's sleep last night. And I'm going to ask, is this in my highest good? And it's still saying yes. If it said no, then maybe there was something else that was more priority for me to start to look at. So this is sort of starting to ask questions around my scan for myself. If you might be asking, oh, well, what if I'm doing it for someone else? Then you can also tune in and ask to be a surrogate for that person and tune in and test for them. So all you would need to do is do I have permission to be Belle right now and look at her scan and muscle test for her? And my body's saying yes. But if it said no, then I probably couldn't do that because it wouldn't be ethically right. But obviously, if you're working with a client, they've already generally given you permission to look at their scan. Also, make sure you could come back and being yourself. So you could thump. I'm coming back to being myself now. I've worked on Belle, and now I'm coming back to my own energy. And I could check that as, am I being Belle right now? No. But if my body said yes, then I might want to shift that again, do some pre-checks, do some deep breathing, ask to let go of her energy. Or I could go back in and use my quick scan to clear my energy and shield my energy. So I also go into, obviously, if we had a vital scan coming up, how do I get in there? There. I might go through like the foods, and I might ask, how long do I need to avoid avocado for? So I might say to myself, okay, avocados come up as a problem for today. And I might ask, okay, is it a problem for tomorrow? Yes. So my body still doesn't want it tomorrow. Is it a problem for 5 days down the track? No. So is it a problem for 3 days? So my body's saying maybe avoid that food for the next 3 days. So not ongoing. And some foods might be like, oh, keep avoiding it. So I tune in with foods like that. I might tune into some of the vitamins and minerals that might come up and check, do I actually need that or not? Yes or no? Because sometimes they're confusing. Sometimes they're 9 and a 1. And we're like, oh, okay, do I actually need that or not? I'm just trying to find. And we might, oh, my chakras, this was yesterday's scan. The last 2 days, my chakras have been bang on, but everything else is out of whack. And then these sort of charts, you just say your client had, your base chakra was out. And they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on, or you don't know what's going on. I might muscle test around this description. And I might say, okay, we'll just go to a time when my base chakra was out. So I've told my body to go to that time because it's not out right now. And I might say, okay, what's my issue here? Is it joint pain? My body's saying no. Is it lower backache? My body's saying no. Is it elimination problems? And my body's saying yes. So maybe I start to focus on what's going on with my elimination. Is there other organs showing up? Is there enzymes showing up? So I could tune in. And if you had other lists outside of this, you could use this to tune in and check in to get a little bit more information around your scan. So again, you might go, oh, okay, let's just imagine my triple warmer's still out of whack. So I might come down to the triple warmer scan. And again, I might say, is it a physical link? No. Is it an emotional link? Yes. So which is the priority emotion here that's affecting my triple warmer? Is it hope? No. Is it depression? No. Is it loneliness? No. Is it issues with family? Yes. So I'm just playing here, but these are the sorts of things that you could start to get a little bit more information from the scans. And then I use the comprehension a lot around specific areas of the body. So I might, let's just see what's here. Yeah, so I might, write down the 9s or the double 1s and that, and I'll check if it's relevant. Do I need to do more work on that area? If I'm working with a client, that's how I would use it. If it's myself, I might just tune in and ask for an emotion on that area. So, me and Bella discussing putting some extra courses together around the AO scanner and these techniques for everyone in Solex, including you could go into this area and then muscle test an emotion that might be relevant to that and, go a little bit further. So, I mean, that's quite, we're going into advanced stuff here, but once we believe and trust our muscle test, we can sort of be quite creative and take it a little bit further. So that's sort of just quickly kind of how I start to tune in around the different scans. I think Belle's going to show us like how to maybe do it with a Cephi list. Often we're like, how long does the Cephi need to go for? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? You can start to test that up. So I'm going to get out of my screen. Are you going to share your screen or do you want me to just keep going?
I know I can share from mine. Probably easier.
Okay. All right. So I'll jump out of here. Any questions on that? Would that be something that you could start playing with your own scans?
Yes, no?
With practice, most definitely. So I have actually played around a little bit with that just from some techniques that I was shown many, many years ago. And I was taught muscle testing in a little bit of a different way, but I've used that to set up a Cephi playlist for someone that I got good feedback from. So, yeah.
And was it completely different to what you would have just guessed?
I was shown to muscle test as a yes and a no like that. So, and to clear, do all the clearing and that beforehand. But that's how I've always, I suppose, used muscle testing for myself and just incorporated it, as I said, for just playing around, obviously just learning how to use the scanner properly. But I felt that it was the right thing and the appropriate thing at the time to be doing. So,
did you feel like it was different to what your brain might have picked when you muscle tested the playlist?
Yes, and it was actually a lot of the flower essences, and I know nothing of flower essences. But when I took it a step further and read the descriptions and sent the descriptions to the person, and their feedback was that they could, they felt that it was quite relatable to their situation. So, yeah, so I was pretty chuffed with myself. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, some people use that and some people might use a pendulum, which is like a body. So I guess it's finding your way. I mean, we're just teaching two techniques.
No, well, I understand that. And, but it is about, I think, just trusting your way too. So, yeah, most definitely. So.
And when you get confident, I don't actually use any of that. My mind goes yes, no, tells me yes. So I just go quickly go yes, no, and it's intuitive because I've had so much practice. But I wouldn't start with that. I would start with trusting yourself.
So I understand that. So, yeah. But very exciting stuff. And I can see where you're leading to the possibilities of where you could actually take all of that too. So, So very good.
So when we create a Cephi playlist for something, depending on what it is, whether it's for yourself or for something in your spaces and objects or whatever, in an actual kinesiology session, just say it's a sore throat or something, or you're working on liver or whatever it is, we would put it in a circuit. But this is very, very basic muscle testing, so we're not putting it in a circuit, right? And so when something's in a circuit, you can put your sore throat in a circuit, and for the next half an hour, everything that you're muscle testing on will be on the sore throat. But just say you want to do a muscle test for your sore throat and we're doing self-testing and it's not in a circuit. If you're muscle testing and you've put a couple in and then you're not focusing on the sore throat anymore and you start to think about, oh, what am I going to make for dinner? What am I going to wear today? And your mind drifts to your to-do list, your muscle test will actually drift to whatever other things are going on in your mind. So just be mindful when you're doing the muscle test that in the moment that you're actually muscle testing, that you're actually being really present and really conscious about what you're doing. So hypothetically, if you're doing one for a sore throat, you will be asking for the frequencies that are in your highest and best good now for your sore throat, right? And be specific about it. And don't think because you've said it once that for whatever the next up to 15 could be, that your body will remember. Does that make sense? So just really always like bringing it back, or whether it's, you know, what's the highest and best good for your liver, or if you've got a blood pressure issue, you know, what are the frequencies in the highest and best good for your blood pressure, and you want to test it through like that, and just each one that you're testing through, you'll do. I like to do them even just during the day, like, you know, in the morning of like, what is in my highest and best good for me today? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to work on a specific ailment. I'm just going to go, what is in my highest and best good, the priority frequencies for my body to have today. And you're telling your body you can have up to 15 priority frequencies, yeah? And so we're going to ask yes, no questions. So the priority frequency for me today is in quantum reach, and that's yes. So I'll go to quantum reach, and then what I'll do is I'll go through and just muscle test and see where I get.
Sorry, Belle, I can't see the screen.
You can't see it? No, you can't see the screen?
I can't. Can anyone
We're
else?
only seeing we're only seeing a Google search screen.
Oh, let me go back out and in. That's so weird. Okay, stop share.
Unless the co-host can't share? I don't know.
Well, we tested it out before and you could see it, couldn't you?
Yeah, we did.
The co-host should be able to share.
Oh, there we are.
That's better.
There it
That's
is.
better. Yep, we're on.
Okay, great. So then what I'm going to do is be just scrolling down until I get a yes. And so I've actually got energy is testing up as the highest priority for me today. I also didn't sleep last night, Amanda, so that makes sense for me. So
You
then
might have been feeling all you guys coming on today.
So then while we're in that section, we are going to ask if there's more. Do we want more frequencies from that section before we move to the next tab? And when I ask for more, it is holding strong, yes, I want more. So I'm going to keep going down the list until I get another yes. I've got health, strength, and recovery. More, yep. Immune support. More, now it's saying no more. So now I'm going to go down to the next list. So is it in my highest and best good priority to have something from the quantum frequency? That's saying no. Is it in my highest and best good priority to have something in quantum affirmations? Yes. Whoops. Sorry, girls. Allergy vaccinations, interesting. More, yes. I've got energy boost again, funny. We've got a pattern going on here. It's funny, when I did my scan this morning, actually, vaccinations came up under the toxins section. More, yes, something else from in here. Perfect health. And now I'm doing more, and it's like, oh, there is something else here. I've got stress and tension. More, no. So now I'm going to go down to the next section. Is it my highest and best good priority to have something from the quantum flowers section? No. Is it in my highest and best good priority to have something from the quantum chakras? Yes. Throat chakra. And I'm wearing blue today. How's that? More. No. So always checking more. And if it's no, then you move on to the next section. Is it in my highest and best good priority to have something from quantum homeopathics? No. To have it from no-sodes, cell salts, homeoenergetics, more of anything? No. So my body's saying no more of anything. It doesn't want any more frequencies, right? So this is my playlist for today. So I've only needed 8 things. You're not always going to need up to 15. So I can save that and I can play that later. What is today's date? The 16th of December. All right. So the other thing that we can do is we can create playlists for not for ourselves, but for something else. So I love to do intentions, right? So where are they? Somewhere here. I've got my intentions. So every new moon, I do my intentions, right? And I write down in present tense, I am, I have, I feel, I choose, I'm grateful for, whatever it is I want to have in my life, right? Then I create a specific playlist, which I adjust weekly to actually see what it is that I need. So then you can be like concentrating and focusing on your intentions and actually do the same thing, creating a priority list of what is the priority in your highest and best good to bring your intentions into reality. And you'll go through the same process of yes and no, asking more, but actually creating a special intentions playlist. Does that make sense? Yep. Yep. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Can I ask, Belle, when you're doing groups, for instance, and you've got your spaces and objects, and you create your group,
yep,
and you've got all your people in there and your description, can we do this for that? Like, how do you do that for a group of people?
Yep. So you can, that's a very, very good question. So like Amanda had shown before, when you can surrogate for one people, you can actually surrogate for the whole group. So you can actually call in that it is safe and appropriate to surrogate for whatever that group is called. And just say you've got 20 people in the group. Whoever wants to be, you know, online, as I would say, will jump in online in surrogation. And if there's 1 or 2 random people that don't, then they won't. But whatever comes in, and so you can actually surrogate the energy of the group, and then you can actually muscle test a specific playlist for that actual group that you're actually working with. So just say it's an abundance SEPI group or something like that. You can muscle test different playlists and change them up daily or weekly or whatever it is that you like through what actually the actual group consciousness actually needs.
Yeah, so I just say everyone's name out loud. So I'll read the list of names and then I'll go, okay, this group, what do you need?
Yes, I don't say their names out loud, but I've got all of their names written on I do it like a body grid, and I've got all of their full names, both like, you know, full names, like even middle names if they have them. And I like stare at that list and I really just concentrate on the energy of that list. So you can do it whatever way resonates for you. Like there's no right or wrong. It's all energy. It's just bringing in that intention.
Yeah, and that's why intention is so powerful, that you know what your actual intention is when you're actually looking and muscle testing and finding.
Yeah. And even like, you know, like going through your inner voice and, you know, muscle testing, like maybe you don't have time to do all of it, but like maybe muscle tests like out of the PDFs, which one is the priority? And you've got the color therapy there. So maybe there's a priority of your highest and best good of the color, and you might want to even just wear that color. Like you don't just have to wear the colored glasses while you're listening to it. You can actually like wear that color and bring in that color therapy in your life as well. And muscle test the priority emotion of what's going on and be able to look at, you know, how you can change and clear and work on that. There's so many ways that you can actually use muscle testing with the scanner. We cannot fit it all in an hour, but we just wanted you to just have some like basics to be able to start to play with. And we can definitely expand more. Does anyone else have any questions?
So yeah, I might just quickly add, like you could, instead of your scanner, if you've got vitamins you're trying to pick for, get that vitamin and actually put it on your body and ask the question, do I need this right now? No. Do I need this right now? No. So if you were wondering, you could actually physically put the item on your body.
Yeah. But yeah, just remember the time thing, like always just muscle test the time of how long. Like, do I need to have this Seppi playlist running for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, you know, for how many days? 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. You know what I mean? Like muscle test, muscle test, muscle test. That's when you're going to get your absolute best results, because especially when you're working with the detox frequencies, to some people's bodies, especially if they're first signed up and they're new to it, you might only be able to tolerate 5 minutes, because abundance frequencies, I sleep with them nearly every single night playing and have, you know, like that's fine. You can have them going for 8 hours, no problem. But I would never ever have a detox frequency playing for that long, because I know that I wouldn't be feeling so good the next day. So, you know, the detox frequencies are like medicine, and you really want to muscle test that. Do you need it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes? And just be really, really specific about it. Because, you know, especially new people, when you first sign up and it's exciting and you're pushing these buttons, I know I've had quite a few of my newbies send themselves into a slight bit of a little healing crisis because they've overdone themselves with frequencies. So, you know, it's really important to muscle test and actually see what your body wants and what it can actually tolerate, right? Yeah. Do you want to share anything else, Amanda?
No, I'm all good. I think we're right on time. If there's any last questions.
Brilliant, ladies.
Was
Thank you.
amazing. So good. Really appreciate the both of you and all your wisdom and knowledge and sharing it with us all. It's fantastic. Thank you.
So yeah, me and Belle are also discussing doing more like proper courses. So if anyone's interested, maybe let us know what you might be interested in, but we've got some ideas.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny when you just before you mentioned that originally, I was thinking that yeah, doing some more courses, and this would be fantastic.
Yeah, go deeper into things.
Yeah, so like a mini practitioner with the AO scanner.
Yeah, great
Love
stuff, ladies. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So helpful.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, Belle.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful weekend.
See ya.
Bye.